Hi, and welcome to Link4Growth National News Update. That's it, I got it right. I'm Carol Dodsley, and I've got Chris with me. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, hi Carol, how you doing?
I'm good, except I'm absolutely shattered.
I know the feeling. You should have been here yesterday. I was driving 6.5 hours while you girls enjoyed a bit of sleep on the way back.
Yeah, I know. It's still very tiring, even if you're sleeping in a car on the way back.
So you're more tiring listening to you sleeping. Well, I couldn't.
Okay, so let's get on with what we're going to talk about today. Any national expansion news?
Yeah, I'm going to whistle through this because I've said most of this before, so I'm just going to whistle through it and pick up a couple of highlights. But yeah, the Newcastle on the 11th of September in Gosforth. That's a new event that's starting. Derbyshire on the and that's with D20 on the 24th of September. We've got Derbyshire. That's with Lisa Fennick. And next week we've got Penrith. That's with Jenny Braithwaite, and I'm taking the sojourn up there to be at that one. We've got lots of things happening in Durham and North Yorkshire as well, so lots going on up there in the north. In the West Country, we've got Stroud happening on the 18th of September. I'm going along for that, and we've also got inklings of things happening in Wales. There's two events I'm looking at there. One's in Newport, the other in Cwmbran. So I haven't got details yet, but I'm looking to get those initiated. We've got stuff going on in London. Deepa's been very active. We've got stuff, breakfast coming on, and Hillingdon stuff, Easlington, a lunch going to happen down there. I think that's this week on Thursday. So that's another launch. And then we've got things happening in South West, Hearts, Curry event, and other interesting ideas as well. I'm up in Luton to push forward Lutonia on Tuesday. Southend is in the offing, and also I'm looking at helping Paul get something moving in Colchester as well. So and rugby, I forgot rugby. That's happening this month as well. So loads happening.
Yeah, that is loads happening. It's like everything's really starting to accelerate at speed right now, isn't it? You can hardly keep up with it all.
Yeah, it is, and this is the thing. I mean, before I used to know everything that was going on, but there's no need for me to know what's going on everywhere. But what is needed is the consistency and persistency is happening throughout the network. So the emphasis is not so much on any one individual. It's about systems and processes and making sure that those things are being passed through the network to ensure that we do have things happening with all the standard Link4Growth messaging and the ethics and values being passed on consistently.
Yeah, exactly. So have you got any shout outs this week?
I've got loads of shout outs this week, and yeah, it's been a really good week this week because I've met some people in Link4Growth who are involved and have been involved for some time, but haven't actually had a chance to meet them. So big shout out to the 20-man, the voice of Link4Growth. She's got an amazing singing voice as well. She's our district leader in the Tyne and Wear Sunderland district up there, and met her on Thursday evening. Fantastic lady. I'm really looking forward to seeing that really expand up there. Big shout out to Jenny Braithwaite from Cumbria. Been a long time getting the event together for Jenny, but I'm really pleased for her that that's happening this week, and I'm going to go up there and support her there. Big shout out to her. Also to excuse me, Lisa Fennick from Derbyshire, mother of 7 and a very, very busy lady, but totally gets a Link4Growth and a really great conversation up to Redcar this week with her, as you know, you were there as well. But totally gets what Link4Growth's about, and is just so passionate about helping this change happen. So big shout out to her. Big shout out to you as well, Carol. First L4G event this week, so congratulations for that milestone, and having your badge as well. I managed to give Jenny hers as well, which was fantastic. So well done to you. Also to Nikki Pepper. The national newsletter went out earlier in the week, and some localised newsletters have gone out as well, but Nikki does need the other newsletters, so if you haven't got them done yet, and I'm guilty as well, so get those written and get them over to her, because they won't go out unless you write them. Also, a massive shout out to Jerry. Her leadership and energy in the north is inspirational. So fantastic stuff there, Jerry. Also for Deepa, I mean, a lot of stuff that Deepa does goes unnoticed, certainly in the accounts section, and keeping some of the processes and systems in place. She's a master at that, and very often all this work, it's just sort of stuff's happening and it kind of works, and we don't really appreciate why. But big shout out to Deepa for all of that work that she does. And also a big shout out for a local person, Catherine Baldwin from Watford. She's got her own business, but she's also very heavily involved in the Michael Green Foundation, which is about diabetes. But and the important thing about this is that she's put a link on her website today for Link4Growth. And the point I want to make about this is that if anybody else has a website and they want to put on their website that they are part of Link4Growth, and with the link back to the Link4Growth website, then by all means please ask. And the person to ask is Nikki Pepper. Just say to her, can I have the code to put on my blog or my website? I like to display the logo, and let's get people coming back from your website to Link4Growth, because that can only be great for both of us.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome, because it's also, there's a lot of people out there who are involved with Link4Growth. They're sharing the message, they're sharing the vision, they're actually participating, but they're not quite sure, well, how do I best show this? And I've seen some people that have got their own blogs and they're putting a link, but it's not the official logo, and it would look much nicer for them on their website if they have the official logo there, rather than having to try and cobble something together and think, well, there we go, that'll do. So yeah, that's really nice to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, was that it for the shout-outs?
That's it for the shout-outs for this week. Quite a lot there, but it's been a really good week for that. So thanks to and everybody actually that's held an event or participated this week. Sometimes we take that for granted, but if you get hold of a copy of the book, you'll see in the book the organisational structure. It's like a pyramid but upside down, because the really important people are all the people that come to events and support Link4Growth. That's the really important people. Everyone else is supporting, obviously, and there is structure, but without people coming to events, there would be no events. So. Yeah,
exactly. So let's move on then to talk about education and learning. I think you want to.
Yeah, I just want to mention two workshops. One's this week, which is your Google Plus Hangout one, and I want to just say that Link4Growth actually disseminates this show and all the other localized shows through the Google Plus Hangout platform. And one of the issues with hosting the shows is understanding how to set them up and get them actually operational. So people do need to come, and I'm not sure that they're going to discover exactly how to do that on your training, but at least they're going to be aware of what is possible. And I do encourage everybody that's in Link4Growth and anybody that's actually in a team, get yourself booked in. Just contact Nikki Pepper or Deepa Kotak. Get yourself booked in, because this training is there for you, and if you're in Teams, it's free. So really, it's just, and you don't have to be there. You're going to be you'll have an email connection or a link sent to you, so that you can watch this in your own time, in the evening or whenever it is, so you can catch up and you can watch it. So don't be put off by the fact that it's mid-afternoon or whenever it is. That's unimportant. What is important is the knowledge that's disseminated you get. That's the key.
Yeah, exactly. And if I just add a little bit there, because you just said I don't know if you'll learn that bit. It's a half-day workshop for this one, which is Google Plus Hangouts for Business and Life. And what I'll actually be taking people through is the whole overview of what Hangouts are, what Hangouts on Air are, how you can do text chats, how you can do broadcasts. So the whole vision, which will give you lots of creative ideas. I'll be taking people through how to use private hangouts and private text chats, and I'll also be showing everybody the fastest way to set up a hangout on air. So by the time people leave it, they'll be able to use all of the bits. They won't have the in-depth of all the different ways, because that just is not possible in 2.5 hours. But you will walk away from the training having a really clear idea of what hangouts are, how you can use them, why you want to use them, and how you can get started with them.
Brilliant, brilliant. And then, of course, next week on the Tuesday the 9th, Deepa will be running the Connect with Intent half-day workshop, and that's about how to use Twitter and Hootsuite combined to basically drive the kind of conversations that you want to be having with the type of people that you want to have those conversations with. It also explains how you can set up streams to follow things like hashtags. For example, L4G Mingle on Monday night. How do you actually set up a stream so you can keep up with the conversation and actually participate? So all of these workshops are about teaching people how to participate more effectively and how to be part of what's going on online as well as what's going on offline. So that's the following week. So that's basically what I want.
Can I just jump in on that as well, Chris? For anyone that is watching that happens to have come across this, has no idea what Link4Growth is, these workshops are not just for people who are involved with Link4Growth. They're not just for people who are already participating or know anything about Link4Growth. Everything that you'll learn, if you are part of Link4Growth, if you're participating and going to events, it will help you to carry on and continue the connections online as well as offline. If you are not, and you have no interest in Link4Growth, we hope you do, but if you don't, these workshops will show you how to use the platform in whichever way you're looking to use it. So whether that's for your personal life, whether it's for your business life, maybe you're a charity, whatever it is, this is not about we're going to show you how to use it as part of Link4Growth. This is we are going to show you how to use it for whatever you need it for.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's an important point. And you know, our training platform is basically going to be for anybody who wants to be trained. That's the bottom line. So. Yeah.
Exactly. I just thought I would put that point in there.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
So, have we got any pin announcements you want to make this week?
Yeah, we have actually. Jerry has been busy. She's basically appointed or acknowledged the contributions of 3 people this week, and one of those is D20 Man. And quite often, because you know these are a long way north or whatever, you might not be connected to these people yourself. You won't know what's been going on, but there's a huge amount of work that's been going on by these 3 appointments that Jerry has made this week. And you know, just because the first event hasn't happened yet doesn't mean they haven't made a huge commitment and put in a lot of time already. And I know all of these people have. And so D20 has been given a pin this week, Jenny Braithwaite as well, and Lisa Fennick, because actually they've made a huge amount of contribution already, and they've been on the trainings and the workshops and stuff like this. So they've already put in a lot of effort, and very proud that Jerry's done that, and fantastic to all of those 3. And I'm looking forward to talking about even more later on. But what Jerry will be doing, and I started it this week, I put a number of acknowledgements up, which is basically on the forum. There's a new forum I've created, which is for district leaders to basically recognise the pins that they've given out and why they've given them out, so that we can build up a library of all of those people that have received those pins. But not only that, people can see why people are being awarded these pins, and maybe they can step up and do the same thing themselves.
And I think that's a really good idea, not just the pins, but the fact that there is now a platform where people can go on, see who has the pins, but why. And it's the why that quite often is really important, because people go, oh, well, they've got a pin, well, what did they do? But it's not about that. It is about acknowledging people stepping up and doing something of value and adding value, not only for themselves, for Link4Growth, for the people around them. And I think it's going to be lovely to be able to go in and actually see what the people did that caught the attention of their district leaders, and their district leaders awarded them a pin for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. So that sort of leads us quite nicely into highlights. What highlights? I mean, everything you've shared so far has really been quite a highlight from the week, but what specific highlights have you got?
Well, the first one is I was at the CSR luncheon on Wednesday over in Harrow, and that was a really, really good luncheon. Lots of amazing conversations, and there were some really interesting people there. So that was a real highlight for me. And there's a lot of food for thought based on the conversations that we had there. So I can't disclose anything now, but watch out for some interesting outcomes from those conversations. So I wanted to just mention that, and well done Deepa for getting those people there. We didn't leave the lunch until about 4 o'clock, so you can imagine it was some interesting stuff going on there. And also for the drinks in Redcar this week, because yeah, it was a drinks evening that's fairly regular. I've not been to Turner's Mill, which is a relocated drinks evening. It used to be in a Park Hotel, fantastic venue. But more importantly, there were pretty much all the Northern District leaders, with the exception of one, were able to be pulled together for us to have a really good evening where people could really get to know other people, and it makes a huge difference if you can get teams together in such a way. And we'll be encouraging that kind of thing in the London district and the home counties, because getting people together in that way, it just creates that energy, and that creates those relationships that enable everyone to support each other much more effectively. So that was a real highlight of the week, and I personally thoroughly enjoyed it. I know others that attended also had a great time too.
Yeah, I must admit, the Redcar I attended, like you say, it's my first event, could be my only event, because I don't go to many events because I'm actually not going to be in the country for that much longer, but it really was a great event, and it was fantastic because it was the teams meeting, but also the people who were coming along and attending the event who are not part of a team of Link4Growth, and they got to meet different DLs as well, so the energy was completely different, wasn't it? Well, I'm saying completely different to the energy that I'm thinking is at a normal one where there's just one DL. This sort of expanded things out and gave a much broader spectrum of the people that are involved, because every single one of those DLs that was there is completely different and is bringing something different to the table.
Yeah, I mean, not every event has a DL at it, of course, but to have 4 DLs in the room effectively was quite powerful, and there were some really, really interesting other people there. For example, Tonya Nixon, who is a fantastic character. There was a chap there who runs a local gift shop, and I had a really good conversation with him, for he's from Saltburn. So no, it was just a great event, and it was a really good fun evening, and just very powerful. So big highlight of this week, really, for me, that one.
Good stuff. Any more highlights?
No, that's about it. I mean, that was pretty much wiped out the week, to be honest.
Yeah, that's very true, because the Redcar was like a 2-day thing by the time everybody got up there, and then the event, and then everybody got home again afterwards.
Yeah.
So have we got anything to say about subscriptions this week?
Not really about subscriptions so much, except for we've got to get some more sound bites done now. People are not familiar with what a soundbite is, but a soundbite is, you can have one if you're a subscriber, and it's basically your opportunity to talk about what you're passionate about, what you do. It's not a sales pitch, it's an opportunity for you to share yourself with the greater community of Link4Growth and beyond. And it's a 20-minute, half-hour interview. It's all done online. It's recorded. It gets put out there. It's your chance to basically reach a much wider audience and get your personality across, if you like, your presence across to a wider audience. And I just encourage people to start doing it. If you're a subscriber, you know, it's your right to do that. We have a Pinterest board where we put all these, so you can have a look at them. If you go to the Link4Growth Pinterest account and you check on the boards, one of them will be L4G soundbites. Go and have a look at some of the ones that have been done already, because they're interesting, and you'll get to know other people in the community as a result of watching them. And then, you know, if you've watched one or two and you think, actually, I'd like to do one of those, they can get in touch with you, can't they? And they can get themselves on.
There's actually going to be a slight change to how they can book their sound bites. What I'm doing in the background at the moment is I'm actually creating some easy links and a I'm not sure whether it's going to be a document, a video, an audio, how I'm going to put it together, but basically something that says to everybody, this is what a soundbite is, and this is what you need. So because it's done on a Hangout like we are now, and it's an interview on a Hangout, people need to know what equipment they need. They need to know how do they get onto the Hangout, and some people don't know that yet. So first of all, if you haven't been on the workshop, come on the workshop, that'll help you. But also I'm actually putting together a step-by-step guide for everybody, and I'll be putting a link on there that will link to a calendar that is being set up that will actually allow people to just book their time. So it won't be a matter of having to email and wait for me to see the email and then email back and then ask what dates are good and then come back again, which is all quite time consuming for people. They'll actually be able to go straight through and say, right, that's the day, that's the time, because the calendar will show the available times that I have for the soundbite. So I'm hoping that's going to really make it a lot easier for people to understand what a soundbite is, understand what they need, and how to get ready for one, so that they're really feeling confident, and then just book a date and a time that is good for you straight from the diary.
Sounds fair.
There you go, see? Highlight, announcement, whatever that was called.
Good stuff.
Okay, any, so collaborations. What collaborations
Right.
are going on this week?
I just want to mention one collaboration that's, well, in fact, there's a couple of points. Damien Elston from Bradford, I think he's connected to another business in the community connector this week. So that's a bit of good news. Business in the community connectors are people from large organisations who have been essentially sponsored for a year to work in the community to build relationships between community groups and businesses. So it's very aligned to what Link4Growth does, and he's made contact with another one up in his neck of the woods this week, which is fantastic. I also want to just say a big thanks to Regis, because we had another Regis event this week in Rickmansworth. They provide the room and they provide the tea and the coffee. It's absolutely free for people to attend, and they provide that service in 6 of the Regis buildings in the Southwest Hearts and adjacent towns and stuff. So a big thanks out to them, and also for the Michael Green Foundation. We've stepped a little bit closer to having a much bigger, if you like, involvement with them in terms of raising the awareness of diabetes type 2 around the country. And I've set them up with the ability to provide a solution for people wanting to check their diabetes with a product which they can market and make a margin on, which will help the charity generate their own funds. So more on that when the contract and the dotted line has been signed. But these are the types of things that we can do with organisations, which is basically then take that, for example, we can, if there is a place in Cirencester or people in Chester or anywhere around the country who are interested in health and they've got a particular interest in diabetes, they can talk them with people down here in Watford, get the gen, find out how they can help, and they can start to spread the word. And we could go national with this in less than 2 years. And the same is open to any other organisation that has aspirations to take something national.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things that people don't always see, and what I love about Link4Growth is the fact that Link4Growth is not just about events and people meeting up and getting to know each other. It's not just about buy local and promoting and helping local businesses to raise their visibility. It's not just about helping charities who are small, local charities to get more, because they're quite often invisible, help them come out of the cloak of invisibility, so to speak. It's about so much more. It's about really connecting people, not just in their own local, but saying, like you said there about that particular initiative, that's something that there will be people and groups similar to the Michael Green Foundation all over the country who are struggling to get their message out there, who are struggling to really add the value that they know they can add. And by working together and collaborating and then joining people up across the UK, lots of people can pick up the initiatives, lots of people can get the motivation and sort of the inspiration and creative ideas, and everything can grow. And that is one of the big things I think about Link4Growth. This is not limited to business networking, or it's a hobby club, or it's a charity thing. It encompasses absolutely everything.
Absolutely, yeah, and that once people kind of grasp this, and as the network continues to build and grow and compound, then people will just see that a route to fast expansion of whatever type it is or whatever organisation is within Link4Growth, and of course that will engender more people to come and join in with what we're doing as well. So it's just something that's not always obvious from the outside, but as we get national coverage, of course, that's absolutely what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk events.
Right, well, this week coming up, there's loads on this week. I'm not going to run through all of it. I'm just going to let people know where I'm going to be, just so you've got an idea. I'm in Greenford on Monday for the first Monday of the month. That's a breakfast event there. Always quite like it there. This will be the third time I've been. There's nothing else that I can go to on that day, and I quite like breakfast, so I'm going to go along there. And then we've got the L4G Mingle on Monday evening between 7:30 and 9:30. That's an opportunity to meet everybody in Link4Growth around the country that's participating, but not only that, for other people to get involved in what we're doing there and get connected with other people. If they're not in Link4Growth, it doesn't matter. So if you know people that are on Twitter, just drag them into the conversation. Then I'm at Luton on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm not quite sure. There's about 5 events I could possibly go to on Wednesday, so I'm going to select something and go along somewhere. Penrith on Thursday, Coffee in Great Missenden on Friday morning, and then the CSR luncheon, which I know has got a lot of people going to it. That's the one in Watford, so I'll be at that one with Alex Murray. So loads of events this week, and another lot of travelling by the looks of it.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds good though. So you've gone through all of that. Have you got any additional announcements that you want to make this week?
Yeah, I would. We've got Alex has put up a recipe for the L4G cookbook. I've got 2 to put up, but actually, funny enough, I might actually make the recipe that Alex has put up just to see what it's like. So watch out, Alex. I'll be taking some pictures and making some comments on that. An update on the book. It's now out on Kindle, £5.15, and I just want everybody to know I've got a copy of the book, and I take it to all the meetings that I'm at, and actually people are quite interested in this book to see what's in it. And I haven't mentioned this week about growing districts and about growing teams, but having a book there and allowing people to have a look at it and read the back cover and read a couple of bits like the foreword, the introduction, it actually gives people an understanding of what Link4Growth is actually here to achieve. So and I had another person ask about Link4Growth last week. I said, look, go and get the book. It's only £5.15. Download it onto a Kindle, or download the app from Amazon onto your iPad. I downloaded it this week, which was a bit of a highlight because I hadn't got a Kindle app there. I downloaded the book. And then I understood that I could put Kindle app on any other device I've got, and it would sync. So I've got the book now on every device, which is a really good thing. I can read it on the Nexus, on my iPhone, on the iPad. It doesn't matter which device now, but do use that book. It's really powerful that we have a book now which talks about what we're here for. So don't underestimate that. It's £5 on Kindle. I should have my first tranche of 100 books this week, so I'll be liberally distributing them around the network. And that'll be £8 at events, or you can buy it for £12 in paperback form from Amazon Direct. So that's something I wanted to say. Also, we're working hard on the education platform and also on the TV platform as well. Those things are going to emerge. I know they've been a fairly long time in gestation, but these are big things, and we've got to make sure that they're right and they're just well put together, because if we get it wrong, it's just we're just going to put ourselves backwards. So And the last thing is the national TV show. Now, I have promised to not be doing this show, and I haven't escaped from it yet. But we've got a thread going which is talking about the show, and I will continue to keep that in people's minds, because this is the 85th show that I've done, and to be honest, it needs to be different to this. We need to have a show that's what people will want to watch, not what I'm doing, which is giving the information I delved out of the network. So we do have to think about this, and I just wanted to mention it one more time. So there is a thread. If you are watching or you have seen this and you want to make an input and you are in a team, go in there and put your tuppence in.
Yeah, there's quite a few people who've put some comments and ideas, and one of the things that I did last week in that thread is I've actually shared a mind map that shows you a mind map. It's just an initial mind map, but it's absolutely brimming. But it shows you the scope of Alpha GTV and what the sort of expansion plans are, so that people can put that in context with what this particular show that you've been doing, Chris, to see whether, you know, how people want to take this one forward. Because I think some of the ideas initially, people hadn't seen that scoping document, they hadn't seen the mind map and didn't realise what is actually on the way with Link4Growth TV. So do go in and have a look, and do have a look at the mind map to really get, you know, people have gone after the mind map, wow, I had no idea this is where we're going. So it's well worth people having a look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I had a conversation with somebody on Wednesday, and you know, basically, Link4Growth has currently the events, the community, the online forum, all the offline and online stuff. That's what I call the L4G community platform. It has the education platform coming, which is about all the workshops and the and basically allowing people in the organisation and outside possibly to put forward and share their knowledge, which we call open source Link4Skills, part of the education platform. And then we have the TV platform, which is about engaging people, not just about Link4Growth, but about things people need to know about, maybe schooling at home, maybe law things that we ought to know about, or health things that we need to know about. So these three platforms, education, TV, and the community platform, are currently what exists, and that's Link4Growth. It's not a one-dimensional, just we meet up once a month and have a coffee type stuff. And once people start to understand the greater scope of what we're trying to do, then it becomes much more meaningful, and it's really important that people get that and understand where we're headed with it, because it's huge. I mean, and it's going to go way beyond the borders of the UK, and that's really exciting stuff. So that's it, really.
Good stuff. Okay, and just before we stop, I actually want to give a shout out today, and I'm probably giving this shout out not only on behalf of myself, but on behalf of Jerry, Lisa, Dee, Tonya, everybody that was up at Red Car, because I want to give a big shout out to Chris for being the chauffeur and picking two of us up, for organising everybody to get up there, and the overnight accommodation Chris actually sourced and did all the phone calls and saved all of us having to go and book things separately, and just making that, helping to make that happen.
Thank you very much.
There you go. Have you ever had a shout out on TV before, Chris?
No, I haven't. No.
Cool. And if I had them to give out, I would give you a pin.
Thanks for that. Excellent. Okay. Brilliant stuff. Another packed show. I'm trying to get this shorter, but it doesn't seem to work. We need a new presenter.
We'll have to talk about that. Okay, so that's it for this week, and we may or may not see you next week.
Okay, cheers.